Have you ever felt completely consumed by a connection that seemed otherworldly? Like that feeling of standing before your twin flame and for a few seconds, everything in the universe made sense, until suddenly it all falls apart? That deep gaze, which seems to read your entire soul, stops being comfortable and turns into an unsettling mirror. It's like diving into a calm sea and suddenly being pulled by an invisible riptide that rips away everything you've ever tried to hide. This is more common than you think, and believe me, it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. Many people who go through this experience report a kind of love that is almost supernatural. But deep down they also feel a chaos they can't explain. The presence of your twin flame can trigger a series of emotions that make absolutely no rational sense. One minute you're in ecstasy, the next you're crying for no reason. And the worst part is, no one around you understands. The pain is silent, deep, and feels like a maze with no exit. But what if I told you that this chaos has a greater purpose? If your answer is yes, then stick around. Because you're not going crazy, you've just brushed up against the edges of what we call true intimacy. The kind of intimacy that twin flames carry. In this video we're going to explore a territory that almost no one dares to touch. We're going to tear back the veils of illusion and reveal the raw, sometimes uncomfortable, but necessary truths about this life-changing encounter. And most importantly, why facing this shadow side is, in fact, the key to your deepest healing. For a long time, we were sold the idea that meeting our twin flame would be like a modern fairy tale. Two souls who meet, complete each other, and live an unshakable, movie-like love. But the reality is something else entirely. This kind of connection isn't here to massage the ego, but to destroy everything that is false. The intimacy between twin flames isn't just made of cuddles and passionate gazes. It is, above all, a purification machine. And anyone who's been through it knows the intensity borders on unbearable. This deep bond goes beyond the physical. It's energetic, emotional, and spiritual. And that's precisely why it shakes up internal structures that have been dormant for years, sometimes for lifetimes. It's as if a hurricane entered your home, not to destroy it, but to reveal all the dirt you've swept under the rug. The shadow side of twin flame intimacy isn't about toxicity or abusive relationships. It's about the part of us that is wounded and, when faced with a love so true, panics. As if it's saying, "This is too good for me, I don't deserve this." The pain that emerges doesn't come from the other person, it comes from within. And that's the hardest part to face. We think we're suffering because of the person when, in reality, they just pushed the right buttons. The question is, are you going to keep running from it, or will you use this pain as a portal to healing? In this video we'll explore 5 shadow aspects that many people experience in silence but are a core part of the deep spiritual transformation process of twin flames. And I'll tell you right now, understanding this can completely change the way you experience this connection. Point 1. Intense purification and the energetic hangover. Few people talk about what happens after a moment of deep intimacy between twin flames. At first glance it might seem like it was all magical, a breathtaking soul connection. But the next day, the crash comes. A nameless sadness, an exhaustion that seems to originate in your bones, crying spells for no reason. The feeling is that something was forcibly ripped away. And it was, your energy field just purged tons of repressed emotions. This is purification happening in real time. It's as if the two souls, upon meeting with such intensity, merge for a few moments. This energetic merger brings to the surface everything that was unresolved. Traumas, fears, insecurities, from both of you. And your body feels all of it. It's no exaggeration to say that this spiritual hangover can last for hours or even days. Some people report physical pain, shortness of breath, heart palpitations, or simply a desire to hide from the world. And no, you're not sick. You are energetically clearing out what no longer serves you for this new phase. The divine purpose behind this is powerful. This intense release makes space for your energy to handle a higher frequency of love. It's as if the universe is saying, you want to experience love in its purest form? Then you'll have to empty your cup first. The process is uncomfortable but necessary. And a practical tip to get through this with more ease: after intense moments, set aside some time for yourself. Meditate, take an Epsom salt bath, walk barefoot on the earth, listen to mantras like Om Mani Padme Hum. Small rituals can help you ground yourself while your field reorganizes. Point 2. The unrelenting mirror of your insecurities. There is no room for masks in the intimacy with your twin flame. When two souls truly see each other without filters, what surfaces isn't just love, but everything you've ever tried to hide. Fear of not being enough, body insecurities, shame over emotions you were taught to suppress since you were a child. All of this comes to the surface as if it's being screamed in the silence. Even if the other person says nothing, their mere presence activates your deepest triggers. It's like being placed before a mirror that shows not just your face, but your entire soul. And let's face it, sometimes it's hard to hold that gaze. This reflection can cause intense reactions: withdrawal, self-punishment, fear of opening up, or even an impulse to please the other person at any cost. And all of this happens even when the other person hasn't done anything wrong. In reality, they are simply reflecting what was already inside you. This is where many give up on the process, because it's not easy to be confronted with the internal wounds we've spent years trying to forget. But this mirror isn't a punishment. It's a gift in disguise. The universe uses your twin flame as a tool to show you exactly where the knot lies. And the key here is to embrace it, not run from it. Start by practicing self-acceptance. Write letters to yourself, embrace your imperfections, practice affirmations like, "I am enough just as I am." A recommended read? The book, The Artist's Way, by Julia Cameron, is a journey of reconnecting with yourself. This healing process requires courage, but it opens the door to the next level of true intimacy and self-love. Point 3. The activation of traumas and karmic memories. One of the most mysterious and frightening experiences that can occur on your twin flame journey is feeling pains that don't even seem like your own. Out of nowhere, a tightness in your chest, a nameless fear, a sadness that feels like it's from another lifetime. And perhaps it is. The intimacy between twin flames has the power to activate karmic memories, traumas the soul has carried for centuries. You may not remember them clearly, but you feel them in your bones. This ancient energy manifests as premonitions, intense dreams, or even disproportionate reactions to small things. Imagine, for example, that you experience a fit of jealousy for no apparent reason. But if you stop to investigate, you might realize that behind this feeling lies an ancestral memory of betrayal or abandonment. Twin flames access these records without the conscious mind understanding how. The process is disconcerting because it stirs up deep layers of the soul. It's not uncommon for someone to report that after an intimate moment with their flame, they spent days in silence, feeling emotional pains of unknown origin. This happens because the bond touches levels that transcend logic. And as challenging as it may seem, this is an invitation to karmic healing. The divine purpose is to release these burdens that are preventing your soul from evolving. The practical tip here is to record everything you feel. Keep a spiritual journal. Write down your dreams, sensations, and insights. Practice guided meditations focused on past life healing. On YouTube, you can find excellent options with themes like spiritual regression for karmic cleansing. Additionally, flower essences like Star of Bethlehem and honeysuckle can aid in this energetic process. All of this prepares the ground for the next cycles of this transformative connection. Point 4. Energetic overload and fusion, the loss of self. Over time, many people on the twin flame journey start to notice something strange. A growing difficulty in knowing where they end and the other person begins. Thoughts get mixed up, emotions feel shared, and even physical pains appear mysteriously. This is energetic fusion, when the boundaries between the two souls become blurred. And as romantic as that might sound at first in practice, it can be a brutal emotional and spiritual overload. Because losing your sense of identity is like being without an anchor on the high seas. At this stage, you might feel mental confusion, difficulty making simple decisions, chronic procrastination, or a strong urge to isolate yourself. Often, you can't distinguish whether what you're feeling is your own or your twin flames. This energetic entanglement, if not balanced, can lead to complete exhaustion. And here's a classic sign. You start neglecting your own life, your goals, your relationships, and even your physical health. Everything revolves around the other person. And the most ironic part? This collapse happens in the name of a greater love, when, in reality, it's the ego panicking at the dissolution of control. The divine purpose here is to teach true interconnection, but without losing your center. The lesson is energetic sovereignty, learning to be with the other person without ceasing to be yourself. Grounding practices are essential at this point, like walking in nature, doing mindful physical exercises such as yoga or tai chi, and even using crystals like hematite and onyx to rebalance your energy fields. Another practical tip: energetically declare your autonomy. It may sound simple, but repeating phrases like, "I reconnect with my center," during meditation can realign your field with your own axis. And this alignment is what will prepare you for the next great test. Point 5. Intimacy as a trigger for separation, the runner and chaser paradox. Now we arrive at one of the most painful and paradoxical points of the twin flame connection, when the intimacy that should bring you together becomes the very trigger for separation. Sounds crazy, doesn't it? After sublime moments where everything vibrates in perfect harmony, the other person simply pulls away. They become cold, distant, start putting up walls, or even disappear without explanation. This happens because the depth of the bond activates the ego's greatest fear, the fear of disappearing, of being completely engulfed by the force of this connection. And what does the ego do when it feels threatened? It runs. This dynamic is called the runner and chaser. The one who runs is usually the one who is more emotionally wounded, the one who can't yet handle the weight of total surrender. Meanwhile, the other person, often more consciously aware, becomes desperate, trying to keep the connection alive. What no one tells you is that this separation isn't a failure. It is part of the process. It's as if the universe is saying, now that you've had a taste of union, you each need to become stronger individually. And this is where many people suffer, thinking the love is over or that they did something wrong, when in reality it's just love forcing growth. The role of this separation is profound. It shatters illusions, strengthens self-esteem, and forces each person to seek their own healing. And yes, it hurts, but it also transforms. At this moment, it's essential to focus on yourself. Therapy, support groups, spirituality, art, whatever reconnects you with your essence. Read Women Who Run with the Wolves by Clarissa Pinkola Estes to understand how cycles of withdrawal are also part of the soul's dance. The true union of twin flames isn't measured by physical presence, but by the depth of the evolution each person is willing to undergo, even when they are apart. The big turnaround, reframing. After all of this, the emotional chaos, the unexplained pain, the unexpected separation, it's common to wonder, is this connection really doing me any good? And that's a fair question. But here's where everything changes. The dark side of twin flame intimacy isn't a punishment, it's a polishing. What feels like a breakdown is actually an acceleration. While most people are slowly moving toward self-discovery, twin flames are being launched on an emotional rocket toward evolution. And let's face it, rockets don't take off smoothly, they make noise, shake, and sometimes even scare those around them. What you've experienced so far may have seemed like an emotional nightmare. But if you look closer, you'll realize that every pain was strategic. Every discomfort pointed to something that needed to be healed, and every separation invited you to come back to yourself. The universe isn't punishing you, it's training you. As if to say, do you want to truly love? Then learn first to hold yourself together when everything seems to fall apart. Intimacy with your twin flame is the most demanding teacher you will ever encounter, but also the most efficient. And the result? A stronger, more aware, and more loving soul. And this is where the golden key lies. When you understand that the purpose is not the idealized romance, but the evolution of the soul, everything changes. You stop waiting and start preparing. You stop suffering and start transmuting. And at that point, the magic happens. Love stops being an obsession and becomes a creative force. The connection with your twin flame becomes a catalyst for your greater purpose in the world. Because at the end of the day, this journey is not just about the two of you, it is about who you become as you go through it. And that is when true liberation begins to take shape. And now it's over to you. After everything we've uncovered, the emotional chaos, the unexplainable pain, the separations, the journey's purpose becomes clear. This isn't a punishment, it's a profound refinement of your soul. Every discomfort was a signpost pointing toward healing, and every separation was an invitation to come back home to yourself. So, I want to hear from you in the comments. Which of these 5 shadow aspects resonated with you the most? What part of this journey have you experienced firsthand? Your story matters. Because when we share, we heal. And more than that, we remind each other that we aren't alone on this path of twists, turns, and deep learnings that is the twin flame connection. Let's build a supportive community right here, where every word has the power to light up someone else's path. And if this video brought you clarity, if it made you take a deep breath and think, now it all makes sense, then please, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell. We still have so much more to uncover together on this journey that goes far beyond romantic love. Here we talk about soul, truth, and growth. About moving through the shadow to find the light. This connection didn't come into your life by accident. And maybe, just maybe, everything you're feeling right now is the sign that you're ready to take the next step. A step that is more conscious, more centered, and more aligned with who you truly are. Share this video with a friend who needs to hear this message today. Thank you for being here with me. Until next time, take care of your heart and your soul.